Hello, hello, and welcome, or should I say ho, 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 Christmas cousins. I'm Cousin Chad.
And I'm Cousin Seth.
And Cousin Seth, tonight we're going to be reviewing a fantastic Hallmark movie. Well, was it fantastic or not? We'll see. We have two amazing guests with us I'm very excited to introduce, but really quickly, who are we? We're the Christmas cousins. I'm Cousin Chad. I love the holidays. I love the seasons. My beloved Cousin Seth was telling me, Cousin Chad, I don't do the holidays. I don't celebrate any of that. I said, this is crazy. You've got to do it. I'm going to take you on a journey. We're going to teach you through the season. We're going to go through all the fun stuff, watch the movies, do all the things, record it, get a following. We started off slow. Cousin Seth, give us the latest. I know you're counting everything, hand counting, like the big election coming up. Cousin Seth, how many followers are we averaging now? The world wants to know.
Yeah, there are a lot of numbers going around,
Yes, there
particularly
are.
the next couple of days, but I have managed to keep track of it, my little tally marks. And
Okay.
and as everybody or probably most people know now, we broke the 32 million mark the other day.
Amazing. Amazing.
We are
Amazing.
currently sitting at 33.58.
Average Jelly listeners, and this is a number
Unbelievable.
that we may or may
Right.
have not made up because it doesn't matter. Seth does the counting; he verifies it all, so I think it's fairly accurate. Seth, that's a lot of hash marks you have on that
Right.
paper. But more
Concrete
importantly,
starts, you threw out an arbitrary number, like that seems like a good place to go. People are
repeat it
believable.
enough, and people believe it. It's good. So, Seth, here's the thing: it's not all about you today, like normal. It's going to be
course.
difficult for you. We have a returning guest. Fan favorite, but we have a special guest, even more special than our special guest, Cousin Seth, because without this other guest, there is no other guest. Let me explain biology, how it works,
Please,
okay, Seth?
please.
There's a stork. We have actor, writer, producer, all around multi talented, future Hollywood legend, friend of the show, Christmas cousin, Kerry Frances here. Audience. The audience they love you, Kerry. And a notch above. If Kerry is the princess, we have the queen herself, her own mom, Joanne. Welcome to the Christmas Cousins. Woo!
Hello. Welcome.
Very excited to have you here, Joanne. How did you end up on the show? So one last time we had Carrie on, she was telling us you enjoy watching these movies. You have a lot of outspoken beliefs and thoughts about them, and you're a Jersey girl, so I believe it. So we said we've got to have you on one show, and Cousin Seth and I were doing our preview last week, and we saw there was about two moms, and I said this is perfect. Let's see if Carrie and her mom are available. Thank you so much for joining. We're very excited. So everybody, welcome Joanne and welcome Carrie. This is
My
fantastic.
pleasure.
Thanks for having us back. Very
You're
excited.
welcome. Yes.
Yeah,
So
the
we-
last time we were chatting, I was in her house. And so I just kept referencing the things she said. And I think you guys were like, wait a minute, she would be a better guest. Let's get her on.
That's
So,
right.
Yes, it's very exciting.
Joanne, next time we're making you a co-host, and we're not even going to have to involve Carrie or bother her. She's very busy.
There you go.
20
I'm
auditions
almost
this
always
week.
available. Unlike
Okay,
her.
good. Very good. So everybody here watched the movie, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Holiday Mismatch is the one we're covering. It was the Sunday night movie. It was tough. I didn't get to watch it all last night. I had to fill it in throughout the day. Did everybody watch it last night live or catch up today? What was our viewing habits? Joanne, did you watch it all live last
I
night?
watched it all live. For me, it's 8 o'clock Eastern time, and I watched it straight through, as I usually do all of them. If
Oh,
I
wow.
miss one, I know, they're often on the next. If you miss a Friday night, it's on Saturday. If you miss a Saturday night, it's on Sunday, usually right before the other new one. So
Right, right.
She's got a
And
pattern.
Yeah.
Carrie,
Yeah.
did the 8 o'clock one start at
Locked
8 o'clock in California? Or they start
No,
at
I am
5?
so sad to tell you they start at 5, and it is really, really a hindrance on my ability to watch these movies because who the heck is home and free by 5 p.m. every
Right.
single Thursday, Friday,
Right.
Saturday, Sunday? So I
Wow.
usually do catch up. I watched it live last night, but I missed like the first 10 minutes, and then I missed 10 minutes somewhere. So I watched a little bit back today so I could catch up.
So we're all caught up, which is perfect. I didn't no idea they start at 5 o'clock. That's crazy. It's like this, especially when they start in October. It's still light out and everything. Not as cozy. As I'm on East Coast time as well. I'm in the Carolinas, so we watch it, Joanne, at the real time, Eastern time. Yeah, exactly. So let's get into it. Holiday Mismatch. This kicks off with Kath, who's played by Caroline Ray. She's a free-spirited holiday enthusiast. Barbara is Beth Broderick. She's been in a ton of these. Thinks she's fantastic in them. The organized Christmas queen. They butt heads at a festive committee meeting, but the rivalry takes a surprising turn when they discover they've unwittingly paired up their adult children on a dating app. So they're determined to end the romance before the season ends. Kath and Barbara, they end up forming an unlikely alliance, only to find they just might make the perfect pair themselves. So, as best friends, of course. This comedic clash leads to holiday magic, lots of fun, few laughs. So we are going to get into it. But, Joanne and Kerry, I have to tell you really fast, we're going to digress for a second. Cousin Seth had a bit of a holiday mismatch meddling mom moment himself this past weekend. Yes, he announced it on the show, and I've been dying to ask him, and I wanted to ask him live on air. My wife's been asking. Cousin Seth, listen to this one, guys.
Great segue.
yeah, I've been waiting.
Yeah, it's very apropos, this movie, talking about boundaries and stuff like that. But so the mystery gal that I met over the course of this show, things have been great. This romance has developed and everything. She has met my parents. Sorry, trying to put all these things together.
She's so nervous. This is young love, everybody. Look at this. It's beautiful.
I guess the thing is, so my mom had met her parents a couple weeks ago. We're about 8 months into this relationship now, so things progress fairly quickly. Unbeknownst to me, about a week and a half ago, my mom reached out to her mom and invited them over for dinner.
Oh.
Very
apropos, right?
I'm just like, well, wait a second. It was just, obviously my mom and her mom had a connection when they met at the other time. And then it was a whole ordeal. And there's a lot of things that had to come together for this to happen.
Behind your back, you had no idea. She just called.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shocker. But I can report it's from one of the attendees. What's that?
You're reporting. Oh, okay. So this is breaking news, Seth. This is the biggest news going on internationally on November 4th and 5th. Let's go,
That's
Seth.
correct.
Yeah, this will probably eat up most of tomorrow, I imagine.
Yeah. Cousin Seth, what's the news?
The other episodes are dropping.
That's right.
So everything went great. They had a wonderful time. Dinner went well. My mom prepared the dinner. She's not known for her culinary pursuits.
No one in our family can cook.
Yeah, right. They came over, everybody. They had a lovely conversation. I think it went about 3 hours or so.
Wow.
I got some feedback from my mom afterwards, Mrs. X, as she's referred to. Got feedback on her side. And actually, her dad had made the comment. He's like, this is a big thing. It's like a level up kind of dinner. And I was like, yeah, it is. Except we weren't there. We had no part of it. And it was like,
just like Holiday Mismatch. It's just the perfect week. Seth's life is mirroring a Hallmark movie. It's really wild.
Seth, I feel like more and more this is just going to keep happening. Like, I fear to tell you that I believe Hallmark movies are infiltrating your actual life as payback for having no holiday celebrations forever and ever. So I can't wait to see what happens. The more intense these movies get, you better do some stretching. Get prepared.
Right.
Seriously. Seth, did you two share a hug or a kiss and it started snowing at that exact moment? Because we may be setting, it might be like the Truman Show. I'm setting this whole thing up, Seth. None of it's real.
The light at the top when the Christmas tree started flickering.
Yeah.
We short-circuited the town's energy.
Mrs. X accidentally showed her SAG card to Seth, and then he knew that she was a hired actor. It was not good. So.
Would that have been a deal breaker for you, though?
If she was a hired actor?
You didn't like the parents.
Oh. My own or hers? Because I would have bailed on my own real quick. I'm like, you guys don't approve? Neither.
Maybe you shouldn't answer that. Then.
I'm joking. Right. No, they're great. She has an awesome family, and they've been very welcoming, inviting, and it's been awesome. And actually, they're giving me my first official, I guess, Christmas. So that's a big thing.
He's going to have a huge Christmas party. So it went well. I was figured for the show purposes, it was good whether it went well or went horribly. That would have been a great episode too. Right. So Mrs. X's family survived your mom's world famous, very dry chicken platter, which is a huge hurdle to overcome. I'm glad. That's how the people in our family cook. It's usually rye bread and dry chicken. We're not known for our culinary Epicurean feast.
Right.
So, okay, well, that was the big news. I think we can call it a show. I'm exhausted after hearing that, Seth.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to monopolize most of the time again.
I asked, Joanne, is that fascinating? All this transpired on air.
I think that is wonderful that the Christmas love that you had not only brought your cousin into the Christmas spirit, but then manifested itself with a Christmas love. I mean, you
Mhm.
can't ask for more than that.
You're absolutely right. It is
All I had
the.
to
Sad
do was drink eggnog.
Mhm.
You're right. Yeah.
One
I said-
magical eggnog.
I know. Yeah, one magical eggnog. Who knows what I put in that eggnog you drank that one time, Seth?
None of this is real,
That's
Seth.
Sethian Wonderland in Christmas land. But we digress, and we really digress there. Thank you for sharing, Seth. That was beautiful. But we're moving on to Christmas now. I can almost hear the bells, Seth. So here we go. We are going to we're going to start with our overall feeling, our overall holiday vibes, how we felt with this one. Let's kick off with our brand new guest, Joanne. Just overall feeling, vibes of the movie. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was adorable. I thought it was um, all of the characters were really well played. I thought the idea was cute. I've known some meddling moms in my lifetime, not saying it was me, but I do think they do exist. And I thought it just was really cute. They had me at the very beginning when I saw her putting up her mantle and she had all these gold and silver nutcrackers. And it was, just a very cute thing.
And Joanne, do you watch a lot of these movies? All these movies? Have you been
Oh, I
watching them for a
watch them
long
all
time?
day long. Yeah.
Oh, you do. Okay, good. So you
Once
can check.
they run 24/7, which is really great if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep. Let me tell you, it's very
Isn't
good.
that fun? I do love that. That is there like waiting for you. Is this so? Can you tell a lot of people? I know with me, the first 10, 20 minutes, you can tell like this movie I'm in or I'm out.
Yep,
Okay,
I could tell right away. Yep, it was very
perfect.
captivated me, and it was really interesting. And of course, my favorite part is the comedic genius of Caroline Ray and Beth Broderick. They're just some of the lines that they just toss off are really
And the
hysterical.
timing. Well, Kerry and Joanne, Seth and I have no idea. We've never seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Were you two fans?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. This is the first thing that I thought when I saw the preview for this movie is, oh, great. Let's see if they play at all any type of, Easter eggs for Sabrina or anything that we could catch on. As a millennial, I grew up watching Sabrina and have met a lot of the Sabrina cast at this point, and
Oh, cool.
especially these two. I think they're really terrific together.
I did hear. I looked up. There was an Easter egg. Did anybody hear about this?
Oh no, tell us.
Really?
Supposedly, one of the outfits that I think Caroline Ray wore was very recognizable to Sabrina fans. I don't know what it was. Like I said, I've never seen it. Cousin Seth and I weren't allowed to watch TV until our 30s. So that was new to us. So I don't know what it was, though, but it'll be a fun thing. Look it up. And that's unless it's a rumor, but that was actually in an article that I was reading, doing my show prep. So that was kind of fun. So, Kerry, what were your overall vibes, thoughts on this movie?
I really enjoyed this one. I think this is when these movies start to pick up. Once we hit that first weekend of November is when I think we start to get a little bit more of a faster pace versus the late October ones that are still a little country or a little less Christmassy. I think now is when we pick things up. So yeah, I really liked it. I don't think it was my absolute all-time favorite, but we'll get into some other thoughts.
Oh, very nice. Cousin Seth, holiday vibes check, your overall feelings.
A little bit of confusion overall.
In general or about the movie?
Right. Actually, about the movie. On the heels of the last movie I watched, The Austrian Holiday, this is a very different movie. I don't know. I will say I did fast forward through some of it. It wasn't. Yeah. I mean, if I had to give it I say a final rating, we did at some point. It was maybe middle of the road for me as far as the other ones I've seen.
Okay.
I don't know that I'd go back to it or another one I'd watch again.
Interesting.
I did like that it was from the standpoint of the two moms. I don't think that's not a dynamic I've seen before as far as the leads. And but I don't know. I felt like some of the Lauren. I didn't figure out her name till an hour into the movie. Like,
Because you were fast forwarding.
Right. Yeah, I thought for the most part, Lauren and Shane's kind of relationship was a little bit. I know that was kind of what they were trying to do for a little while, but seemed a little buried in it. But maybe that's getting into the.
Right. Okay. All right. It's interesting. It sees how people take it now because we just guested on the Do You Watch What I Watch podcast. They invited us on to discuss my Austrian holiday or whatever that was called.
Mhm.
Oh boy, that was a rough one. That was rough. The podcast was great. Those two are fantastic. The movie itself was just terrible, at least from our perspective. But this one, I have to say, I mean, it was like a party. I was ready to roll. This was so much fun for me. From the, like you said, Joanne, from the very moment we were like started, I'm like, this is good. And I was watching it with my wife, who generally doesn't like these movies, and she was in. So I'm like, okay, this says something. And it's what you want. It was fun. It was Christmassy. It was lighthearted right off the bat. And not knowing these two aunts at all, are the two moms. I know there were aunts in the other one. I love their banter and their camaraderie, like right from the get-go. So I was excited for this one. And I was surprised, Seth. I thought you were going to like it, but to each his own. That's how it's going to go. Normally, he's liked a lot of these, and some he doesn't. And he felt bad. I know he said earlier, he's like, I really didn't like this one. I said, you have to go with your heart, Seth.
That's
what
right.
you have to do.
Yeah,
That's right.
I just don't want to be the guy that's constantly
You're
like,
entitled
oh,
to
he's
your-
just going to crap all over another one. I know. I think I'd give them all a fair shot.
All right. So next, let's get into our favorite parts. And Seth, you can't say fast forwarding. It has to be an actual
Okay.
favorite part. These we call our stocking stuffer moments. The scene that made your heart grow 3 sizes Grinch style. Joanne, would you like to kick us off with your favorite parts?
Oh, part of that repartee that they had was really my favorite part because I really did like the interaction between the two moms, and you could really see how they very clearly did not like each other in the beginning, and how it kind of, softened over time. At one point, she said, something to the effect of, uh, you really are a perfect person to run that committee. Beth said that to the other
Right.
character. And she said, oh, start. Normally you would say, oh, shut up, or don't say anymore. And she'll start, tell me more, kind of. They were very good like that. They had some nice moments between them, and they just were very funny, I thought.
Joanne, you are 100% correct. And you win the Daily Double because that was my answer as well. Not to jump out of order, but that's exactly what I had. The
There you
interaction of the moms and
Great
how
minds.
right, exactly. How their relationship organically grew. They generally didn't like each other, but not so acrimonious that it was where they couldn't come back from it. And then little by little, they saw, wow, they are a good pair, and how they mirrored. The daughter mirrored the other mom. The son mirrored the other mom. And I thought that was so clever. So I just had to jump out because that's exactly what I had as well. I see Cousin Seth scribbling right now, filling it in, picking a favorite part. He always does his show prep live on air, which I love.
Keeps it exciting.
Yeah, exactly. He waits to hear.
Can't say that.
He doesn't watch these. He waits to hear what we pick, and then he writes it down too. So,
No.
Kerry, we are waiting with bated breath. What was your favorite part?
It is somewhat similar. My favorite part is that as a millennial, seeing the Sabrina aunts, and I found myself even imagining if this was a continuation of those storylines. If in another dimension, we had, it was Aunt Hilda and I can't remember the other one, but if they were living different lives and maybe they were under spells and they didn't remember that they knew each other, if this was a continuation of that storyline, I thought that would be a fun idea. And just seeing them together. I also really loved the town. Like anytime we saw the town and the Christmas vibes, I do think they nailed that part of the story, keeping the really festive town center.
That's a great point. Where was it supposed to take place? Did they say? Do we know that?
At one point they said it. I can't remember what Brockton or something like that.
Like New England or somewhere?
Oh, I don't know. I just know they said the actual name of the town, but I always think New England.
Right. I was waiting for them to give a Garden State Parkway exit number so I'd know where it was. But yeah, they didn't do that.
Funny
so
you say that because I'm fairly certain that an earlier scene when I think the two moms are walking in somewhere, there's cars that pull up and they have Illinois plates.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
I was like, I don't know.
You sleuth.
Sharp
I don't
eyes.
know.
Really.
And that was my gem in the movie. No, I was like, cool. It takes place in Chicago. even though I didn't know where it was.
Right. That's fair enough. It could have been one of those cute little towns around Chicago or South Haven, Michigan or somewhere. Those little Hallmark style towns.
I just saw some article today about Long Grove and how they've shot like 5 movies in the past like 3 or 4 years there. It's a quintessential like Hallmark town, stuff like that.
So it very well could have been. We'll have to look it up. I have to say. Oh, I think, no, I did see that. It was somewhere in Canada. They filmed it, but I don't know where it's supposed to take place, but probably New England. So Cousin Seth, which one gave you this holiday cheer? Like a cozy cup of cocoa, Seth?
I like that. I don't know.
That license plate?
Right. Yeah. That really got me. I found myself with these movies looking for arborist or tree tips and stuff like that. This one gave out another one. Apparently, you have to fluff a tree, like poof it up like you would like a pillow or something. I was like, oh, really? I don't know. I mean, when you get a,
it makes sense, I think.
I learned that. I was, to say I was a little distracted during this movie would be an understatement.
What were you doing that you were so distracted, Seth?
I don't know. I don't know. I generally will hold my attention. They're the right amount of time with the commercials I can fast forward through, but I don't know. It was a little. I think it was Barbara Harrison. That was the actor or the character's name.
Broderick.
Beth Broderick. She was a little low energy, I felt. I don't know. It's I was a little reluctant to say that. I didn't want to.
No, speak your truth, Seth. You got to speak your truth.
I don't know, but she's been in other ones. Like she's been in other. Okay.
Was she like that in Sabrina, where she was kind of very low key, or is that just her character she played this time? Because I see what you're saying, Seth.
No, I don't think so. I think compared to Caroline, but for any of us compared to Caroline, she's got that energy that never stops.
Right.
So maybe Beth just kind of was trying really hard to create a different character that would really be opposite that high energy of Caroline.
And if I can jump in here, I think Beth may have also kind of done that as part of her character's like sub story. She was referred to a couple times as newly retired.
Right.
And she was, now that you're retired, what are you going to do? And I know as someone who did retire, it does kind of like, it kind of hits you afterwards. Oh, I did this for X number of years, 40 years in my case. Right. And all of a sudden, well, now you don't really have any reason to get up to go do something. And
right.
It may have been that she was kind of off or low key because of that. Maybe it was part of her character.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right. Because she did say how she was struggling with finding her identity. Her identity was always her job, and now that wasn't there anymore.
Right.
Wow,
right.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is why you're on the show, Joanne. This is fantastic. I mean,
psychological deep dive.
Really, wow, Seth, we've got a winner here. Thank you, Kerry.
Right. Yeah. I might be changing my tune.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, you have a couple years to go there, Seth. I think eventually you'll get to that retiree mindset. You'll see how it affects you.
Man, she's aging you up. She is aging you up, Seth.
Oh, yeah.
She just jumped you up to your 60s.
Right.
I know Seth just turned 20 last week, so
all this is happening way too fast.
You're almost engaged. You're retiring. Oh my goodness, Seth, this is crazy. You're like a reverse Benjamin Buttons over here. But so here we go. Our next, we go from the heights of the highs to the depths of the lows with the lump of coal. Your least favorite part. What scene deserved to be banished to the island of misfit toys? Joanne, do you want to lead us off here? Which scene was your least favorite, your lump of coal?
Anything that brought in the Yolanda character. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand her attitude towards Kath. I didn't even appreciate the way she said things towards her. I just felt it wasn't explained well until maybe the very end when Kath finally spoke up and stood up to her. It had
Right.
something to do with a prior working relationship, but even that way, I, I didn't think it was worth even having that in. You already had the main story of meeting the meddling moms, the sub story of the one mom being retired and the other mom being too much involved in her daughter's life. This was another sub story I didn't think we needed.
Mhm.
Interesting. Right, right. But they just jackhammered it in and they didn't. It just made her unlikable throughout the movie.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. That was like the other one we watched, 'Twas the Date Before Christmas, where they could have written the fiance in however they wanted, or the ex rather, and they made the ex pass away instead of like just they broke up or whatever.
Oh,
So they
right.
had this weird underlying story of his passing and her mourning,
Mhm.
which brings you
Yeah.
down when you're trying to have a nice holiday movie. So that's interesting,
Right.
right? Because they could write it however. Interesting. Okay, Carrie, what was your lump of coal moment?
I picked a different character who I just did not vibe with, which was the dad character. It seemed like they were like acting. I didn't believe them as a real couple. I don't really anytime he was in any scene, it just felt off to me. Like it felt like it didn't make sense for them to be married. I felt like again we're talking about Beth's character being somewhat older and retired, and then the contrast of having the husband be very active in his career. It felt like was there supposed to be an age difference? Was there supposed to be? I don't know. It didn't. It did not work for me. That element was not believable.
Right, he was very third wheel vibes, right? Like he just wasn't necessary. Yeah, I
No,
gotcha.
no. And
Right.
I realized they didn't want to make both of them single for storyline purposes, but I feel like they maybe could have found, and not to say anything about the actors, choices acting, but maybe they could have found a better fit or made a better storyline that made a lot more sense for him and for them as a couple.
Right, he only existed to sit there and comment on the wives commenting on the kids.
That's
So
correct.
he did. Right,
Yeah.
he should have gone back to his Tommy Bahama modeling career that he was clearly doing earlier. So that's the vibes I was getting. Cousin Seth, what was your least favorite moment? Like a half melted snowman, we're talking, Seth.
It's I thought they sound ridiculous. I thought the daughter was an attorney for most of the story. I don't know why I got that in my head. And then it's like I got to the scene where she's planning something and it didn't really click. And then they're really maybe the farther stages they're finalizing something. I'm like, oh, she's not an attorney. Like she does something in designing something. I was just I don't know. So yeah, I got hung up on a storyline that wasn't there. I started creating things and going my own direction with this.
So your least favorite part was that you were confused? That's your least favorite scene? I don't think that
it
counts.
confused me. Yeah, I don't like things that confuse me.
We did a coffee review on this show, and he said he liked one over the other, a fall coffee, because it was warmer.
Beth, you're doing your
Close to the
best.
time.
You're trying your hardest.
He's trying.
Got a lot going on. What I guess it just seemed like an unnecessary scene, or maybe it wasn't. But that sandwich making competition in the beginning, it was just I don't know. It was like kind of forced. It's like they could have had something to have them interact so quickly, or to I guess have
That
a
makes
scene
sense.
or build a
Yeah.
scene or whatever.
Sandwiches were a good idea. For me, the least favorite was just when she was like, the mom was like, "Oh, you're selling the business." She's like, "Oh, you're selling the business. You didn't tell me." Like things were moving so quickly. He could have been like, "Look, I just decided. I'm still going back and forth." I could have explained it instead of having it where they made a whole thing out of it. It wasn't like he was purposely not telling her, but that was it for me. So we're on to Santa's weird list, the weirdest or most ridiculous moment, the part of the movie that had you questioning if the writers had one too many eggnogs. So Joanne, was there one that just struck you as really weird and ridiculous?
Well, I thought it was weird and ridiculous, but again, related to the comedic genius of Caroline and Beth. That whole business of climbing up and over and getting shoved in the transom part of the
Yes.
door, the transom window above the door. I just thought that was hysterical.
She goes, "It's Pilates." Yeah, that was really funny. Yeah,
The boxes, climbing up the boxes, and it was funny.
okay, yeah, okay, I like that one. Right, that was funny. They played it beautifully. Carrie, did you have a weirdest or most ridiculous movement, a strange plot twist that came out of nowhere, like a reindeer in a living room?
I didn't need the improv scene. I felt like that was very odd. That whole section to me could have definitely been utilized in many other ways. But yeah, I think the weirdest part was that for sure. I also really wish they had different names, and I don't know why. But Barb and Kath to me felt like someone was like, "We need to emphasize that they're old. What can we name them?" And like
Mildred.
Gertrude.
Something about it just didn't. It was like Barb and Kath, like they were trying to make them like a band or something. So all those things together, weird.
That's a good point. That's interesting. Okay, for me, it was the brother snitching within like 10 hours of the brother telling him this major secret. He's like, you have a brother, a sibling, a cousin. You hope you can trust them, right? He heard like the brother tells him, hey, I've got the secret. Then the brother turns and tells the mom. Like literally it was like instant telephone. It was really terrible that he went around his back. And then everybody just told everybody. So this family is not very good at keeping secrets. That to me was very weird and ridiculous because he told his brother after you would think years of building up trust, and the brother's like, hey, don't say anything, but there you go. So that was my thought. Seth, weirdest or most ridiculous moment? And don't say that the lawyer was doing architectural plans because she wasn't a lawyer.
I'm not convinced she wasn't or had aspirations at one time in her life.
That's right.
But yes, I agree. I have to go with you on they gave it up so quick. The brother gave it up so quick. It's just like, yep, got this information. You can just relay it.
It was ridiculous. If I told you a secret, Seth, would you keep it if I told you a secret?
Yeah, I'm great. Mostly because my memory is crap. But...
Seth knows if he tells me a secret, I won't say a thing until our next show. And then I will bring it up live on air for our 33.2 million. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a sneaking suspicion before this that Chad and my mom would be very similar. And so far, that is tracking this entire time. So I think that...
Thank you, Kerry.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. I will take that as a compliment because so far, everything Joanna said tonight is genius. So I will take that. So thank you, Kerry.
That's right.
That is awesome. So we have a couple more. Christmas wish list. What would you change? Is there something that if you could shake up the snow globe to reimagine this film, what would you add, subtract, change? Joanne?
I that's a tough one because I liked so much of it that I don't know. I didn't get, not to trade in on someone else's idea, but I didn't get the making of the sandwiches, and I didn't get all of the interestingly weird kind of things that they were doing as a committee. It seemed like it wasn't really well thought out. I could have done without that.
Okay, right. That makes sense. Change that up because they were kind of jackhammered in there. They weren't organic scenes. Like you wouldn't just start at a committee as the bookmaker and then start making sandwiches. Didn't really make sense. Okay, very fair. Kerry, what about you? What would you change?
I feel very passionate about this. Why did they just instantly dislike each other? Like there was no explanation. There was really no intro. It was like, nice to meet you. I hate you. Like there was no anything there about explaining or really even talking about, maybe there was that one line she said to that annoying husband about how, this woman, she really isn't organized. But overall, it felt like we were supposed to just agree with the plot that they instantly hated each other. And then again, that they instantly decided to break it up, to break up the couple. Again, no real conversation. It was as though they just both understood the other. And now we as an audience had to go. So I wish there had been more explanation, even about the app. They never really explained the app. They just had like one sentence, and we're just supposed to, this whole movie kind of felt like jump on or get left behind and hope you can figure it out. I mean, we've got poor Seth not able to figure out the girl's name or occupation, right? We've got all these different things happening because the movie moves so quickly. It really, to me, felt like a movie where maybe the initial script was so great, and that's why they went ahead with this movie. But by the time everyone put in notes about it, it became a bit PC. And so that's my biggest critique would be my Christmas wish here for what I would change about this movie is more explanation and a little bit more development of the characters in the scenes so that we could understand why they hated each other so much and why they desperately had to break up this couple.
Look at that, like a true business insider, a Hollywood
Wow.
insider. I like that. Good thoughts. That was good. Wow, Seth, I wouldn't want to follow that. So
I'm not going to. Oh,
all right.
so I am.
Just throw them under the bus.
That's right.
Right. What she said. Yeah, I think I would cut out the whole Yolanda Sharp thing. Yeah, I don't know if it was necessary.
You would assassinate her, or you would have her character not even be involved?
Just, yeah, that story or whatever it was. But I understand. I mean, you have to bring them together for something. But yeah, it also doesn't answer the question, like you said, of them being immediately mad at each other. So they could have something else. So maybe I don't know if they had some other falling out or something happened, big explosion.
and maybe an asteroid hits.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay. Well, for me, the one thing I would change was I really like this movie. So it's weird to say the underlying premise, but the fact that these two would make up this fake dating and take their entire holiday season committing to this just to please their moms, kind of, when they're adult children, they have their own lives, they're successful, they would do all this. It just seemed like a long way to go. And there had to be, this kind of takes from everybody, but there had to be a better way to get them together with the moms interacting than the way they did it. Because really, who's going to go through all that? I'm going to give up all my entire Christmas season pretending just so my mom doesn't bother me. Like, you could just make up and say you're dating someone in another town or something. Or like Seth's been doing for 8 months, make up that he's dating this Mrs. X lady. I mean, it's a whole thing going on and no one can check. And so that was it. That was it for me. That was just, there could have been a better way to do it. And Kerry, maybe you're right. Maybe it had something and they're like, well, throw in an app. You know, Hallmark just found out about apps. So
that's right. Yeah, they're trying to make it snazzier and jazzier. And you know what's interesting is we all started this by saying how much we all really loved it. And the more we've all talked about it, the more I'm wondering if any of us really truly loved it, or if it was just really fun to see Caroline and Beth and that they had great festive decorations, like the set deck. Way to go, set deck. Great job. You know, way to go, costumer. But yeah, there's a lot of, it's all of us saying, wait, I really love this, except for these main plot points. So
well, that is true, right? So I guess it comes down to, this is a perfect segue because this is our final overall rating. And for me, the rating always comes down to, would I watch it again? There are some of these I'll watch over and over and I make sure to watch every year, and some I wouldn't. So that would go in. So I like what you're saying, Kerry. While we're watching it, we enjoyed it. When we look back, maybe we're seeing a lot of holes in it, but I think that would also be any Hallmark movie. So Joanne, do you have an overall rating, our Elf rating?
I would give it an 8.
Oh,
an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10,
Wow.
and I would watch it again.
Excellent. Okay, so you would. Do you have ones that you rewatch every season that you're like, I have to watch this?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which are your favorite few?
Oh, well, I really like the ones where they traveled back through time on the train. I can't remember any of the
Holiday
names.
Train or something with the guy from Back to the Future. That one.
And A Timeless Christmas. I think
Yes.
A Timeless Christmas with Erin.
Oh, Timeless
And Ryan
Christmas. I do
Patey.
like that one also. That's when the guy is from
The museum.
characters from far away.
That one's bonkers. Yeah, Seth, his house is now like a museum, and he wakes up alive in the house, like in modern times.
Right.
Okay. Oh,
But you know, and what's nice is you have the regular Hallmark channel and the mystery movies Hallmark channel. So, you know, on the weekend, they're all like on 2-hour segments, and you can go to the 12 o'clock one and see, oh, do I want to watch this one or do I want to watch that one? Because they're all the older ones leading up to the 8 o'clock news show. But you have that choice. And sometimes you have to pit, you know, am I going to watch, you know, Lacey Chabert do this, or am I going to watch Candace Cameron Bure do that? And, you know, in the older movies. And it's really tough sometimes. It really is, you know?
Yeah, good choices, though. That's the fun of it, for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, Carrie, overall rating. And is there a movie that you have to rewatch every year? I think that's an interesting question. At least one or two.
That's a great question. Yeah. I gave this a 6.8.
Not bad. Okay.
Not bad. I would watch this again if it were on in the background while I was like cleaning or doing something. Again, I think the festive vibes were on point, but I wouldn't intentionally sit down and watch it. However, it's not my like least favorite of the year so far. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. And what are the ones I really enjoy? The one with the boys last year, the three men and a
No, the
baby.
wise men.
Yeah, the three wise men. I'm excited for that sequel. I liked It Built More Christmas.
That was beautiful.
I like that throwback one with Candace where she's flying to meet her fiance's family, but ends up getting a bunch of snow problems and they have to take a car and she falls in love with her plane mate along the way.
Right.
I think that one is a really good classic. And a lot of Lacey's. Lacey has an old one where she wakes up and is no longer a prominent newscaster, but instead married her boyfriend, and they have two little girls, and she has to figure out why she's stuck there. I really like that one.
Oh, I never heard of that
I
one.
just saw that this weekend.
Mm.
We just saw
what
it
is that
Saturday.
called?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's called?
It's called a Family for Christmas, I believe.
A Family for Christmas. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
she's downplaying this. JoJo, as I like to call her, has spreadsheets. She's got organizational systems. She does these ratings on her own, just her and herself talking in her living room. Done her nose.
Wow.
Right.
You're like Barbara from the movie.
Yes, yeah. And I actually thought that when I was watching this, I was like, oh, she's a lot like Barb, like a lot of organizational systems. A true Capricorn is what I would like to say.
That is really funny. Wow, I like that. Okay. Wow, good to know. Seth, so next time Seth doesn't make it, Joanne, I'm calling you.
Perfect.
For the
Yeah,
review.
just skip over me. I'll just give you her direct line.
That's right. Perfect. So, Seth, what about you? What is your overall rating here?
I'm afraid of this number.
Well, I will say this conversation has boosted it. I don't know. Hearing everybody's input and stuff like that. I'm gonna have to go 4.5 turkey supper sandwiches.
Oh,
I don't know that I will watch it again. There's nothing that really captured my attention or really a storyline that I was like, oh, I was really invested in or interested in. As I did say, I was a little distracted, but I don't know. Nothing jumped out at me. I don't have the history with Caroline Ray. I know her a little bit. She was a comedian. She did. She was stand-up for a little bit.
she still does, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was out somewhere here in LA called the Largo, seeing someone else, and she came to see the show. And she, like, as she came in, everyone like erupted into cheers, and she like stood up and did a hello thing, which I thought was kind of odd until then I looked her up and realized, oh, she's like a legend in the comedy game.
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. I think she did an episode or two of Curb Your Enthusiasm too, so that's extra points. So, so yeah, that's how I arrived at 4.5.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So no, go on. Were you done?
I'm also looking at this. I know there's gonna be other movies obviously coming. Some will probably be worse. So hopefully they're not.
Maybe not your least favorite. Was it your least favorite so far out of all the ones you've seen?
No, but that's not saying a lot.
Okay.
He watched Austrian Holiday, and Seth had the best line of the review of them all. He said, "It's not my Austrian Holiday, whatever." He said, "It's not the worst thing the Germans and Austrians have ever done, but it's close." So that's how he felt about that movie.
Oh, someone needs to censor his thoughts before he says them on the podcast.
I know that. It was it was on someone else's, wasn't ours.
Yeah, it wasn't ours. He would never do that. Yeah.
He still maintained that integrity. And
yes, that was his cousin Seth character anyway. So for me, I am going to give this one. Here we go, a little drum roll. I'm going to give this, that's right, a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10, and I'll tell you why. One, I enjoyed it throughout. From beginning to end, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the set, like we said. It was Christmas everywhere. Here's where it went a little awry for me. There wasn't enough actual Christmas. It was taking place at Christmas. There's a lot of Christmas decoration, but I like when they're like making the cookies. They put a little, they're getting cookie powder all over the place. Like I like those montage scenes. It's really like, now we're going to go into town and go Christmas shopping. So this could have taken place anytime. It didn't have to take place at Christmas. So that knocked it off a few for me. I would definitely rewatch this, but I wouldn't watch it over and over again, like some of the classics like Small Town Christmas or Christmas Cottage. Those are good ones. But it was fun. And when you watch these and you don't know if you like them or not, you can enjoy the whole thing. It's good. And I did and it went quickly too. That Austrian holiday one felt like it was 4 weeks long. It was brutal. So if you're listening,
Chad, I can't tell if you liked or disliked the Austrian Christmas movie out this year. I'm not sure. I can't get a vibe.
Yeah, right. I'm being polite too. It did feel like I'd rather. There's a lot of things I'd rather do than watch that again. From the beginning, it was terrible, but that was probably one of the least enjoyable ones I've seen yet.
It's the only one I haven't seen this year, so you are really selling it for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now you both have to watch to see if it's as bad as we thought. Let us know if you do watch it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely will. I mean, listen, I do have a friend in it, so I think we should say it's going to be wonderful, and I can't wait to see it.
That's right.
Wow.
Your friend who's in it was fantastic.
Her
Their role, that was the one highlight
They
that
killed
there
it.
was.
Yeah,
They really did. Yeah. We'll have to rewatch it, Seth, and then we could talk to them again. How about that?
We'll see. We'll see.
Not happening. Well, everybody, thank you so much. Joanne, welcome to the show. You're an instant star. The crowd loves you.
Woohoo!
Crowd goes wild.
I tell you, like mother, like daughter, star power everywhere here going on. This is really crazy. We love it. So
It was
thank
a
you.
pleasure to be on. It was just Christmas Hallmark movies are one of my favorite things, and I'm glad you brought Seth over to the right side.
Yes, thank you. Isn't it fun? It's a Monday night when we're recording this. We're just entering up, talking for 45 minutes, laughing, having a good time, dissecting this movie. It's so much fun that we can do this, and I appreciate you both taking the time. Kerry, I know you have a million things going on, so for you to take 45 minutes to do this means a lot. Cousin Seth, I know you have, I don't even know what you have going on. So
sitting around waiting to do things.
He has no choice. I'll call his mom and say, please make Seth get on. So I have power over
And then
that.
his mom is going to call Mrs. X's mom. So really, at this point, you got to pull it in, Seth. Rein it in.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Like they have regular listeners on their side, on her side. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No pressure. Hey, Mrs. X, shout out.
Right? Imagine before we log off, imagine being Mrs. X's mom, who we know started listening to the show and has become a fan, but your daughter's dating someone and you could hear all his thoughts on a podcast. It's pretty good intel. And she loves Seth. So, because you're so charming on this, Seth. Who wouldn't love you? You charm everyone. Yes.
I appreciate it.
But thank you guys again. Everybody who's listening, check us out at Christmas Cousins Pod on Instagram and Facebook. Kerry Frances, what is your website again?
It's kerryfrances.com and Kerry Frances Official on Instagram and TikTok. And you guys always do a great job of linking that and promoting everything I'm up to. So I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome. And it's Kerry with a Y and CES.
You got it. Yeah.
Yes,
See,
exactly.
we're there. We're there.
Yeah,
at this point, we are New Jersey cousins. So.
Exactly.
There you go.
Thank you so
Christmas
much for
cousins.
having us. I appreciate it so much.
Yes, thank you guys. Look forward to doing it again. Thank you.
All right. Take care.